Welcome to the Draw Shop's Get Genius podcast, where we talk to today's business influencers to pick their brain and pull out their genius. It's time to get genius.
Hello, all my couch hustlers. If you don't know what that is, you're going to find out on this interview. Welcome to another show of Get Genius. Today, our genius is Tabitha Carro, and she is an iPhone visual marketing addict. She's got a program called smartphonemarketingschool.com, and this is where she educates people on how to use your iPhone in the most effective and productive manner in operating your business and with social media. So let me elaborate on that. When you're making posts on social media and you're making videos and you're doing all kinds of different marketing materials, there's all kinds of crazy cool apps and things that you can do with just your smartphone to actually make those even more awesome, make them more engaging, and actually have more people like really wanting to know what you're all about. And it's something, we use every single day. We use our smartphone, but have you really learned how to leverage your whole business with that one device? And maybe you have. But if you haven't, you're going to learn so many cool things that you can do, like hacks, I would call them. So hacks for posts that you're making, how to put labels on there and write on it. And I'm talking outside of writing with your finger or writing in text with Instagram. There's different cool apps where you can do all these kinds of cool special effects that you would probably normally pay a graphic designer a ton of money to do for you. And you can actually do this on your own. There's also ways that you can organize your phone so that you have categories and things that are really accessible and easy to use. So if you are somebody who's putting out posts daily and multiple posts and maybe their video and maybe their pictures or whatever it is, Tabitha shows you really cool shortcuts on how to do all of that. But let me tell you a little bit about her. You're going to hear some of it on the interview, but she was actually a teacher for 13 years, and she's a new entrepreneur. She's not a new teacher. She might be a new teacher in terms of using your smartphone for marketing, but she's not new to teaching. She is new as an entrepreneur, and that's why it's so exciting and awesome to talk to her, because there's a lot of you maybe who have some startup businesses, and being an entrepreneur is new to you, or maybe you're just starting into another realm of business. Maybe it's a different industry and it's something different than you're used to doing. And it's just awesome because she has this incredible energy about her. She's super cute and sweet and really knowledgeable. I did not know that so many of these different apps and tools existed, and I'm somebody who will follow that stuff because I love hacks. I love anything that can simplify my life and make me more effective, more productive in a shorter amount of time. And the stuff that she shows you is really awesome, and a lot of it is just on her website and on her blog. A lot of it is free information too. So just FYI, and she's got some cool stuff for you too. If you listen towards the mid to end of the episode, I'm sure in the show notes and in the blog post, you can see where she talks about all this cool stuff. But so she's literally newly into this business. I guess it's been maybe about a year, and her school is called Smartphone Marketing School, and it's a blog and membership site which shares her iPhone design techniques with fellow business owners. And she's got some really cool course content in there. And in the membership, she teaches you how to do cool professional videos and product photos. So if you have a product, even if it's just a service, there's really cool ways to highlight what it is that you do. And then, of course, social media designs. And all of this is done with just your iPhone. No need for super fancy photo shoots or cameras and photo equipment, or even any kind of software, or outsourcing any kind of designer. This is all done with you and your iPhone. It is specific to, I would say, I think there's some things that you can do with any kind of smartphone. A lot of the things she talks about, or that we've talked about, are through your iPhone. But I do believe that this is tools that you can do on any kind of smartphone. Anyway, she's super cool. She's got an awesome little Yorkie poo that's also super cute and on her site. So you'll definitely want to try these things, even if you're not the person that does all the social media, just in your own personal social media. Or if you do your own live Instagram lives, Facebook lives, your own stories where it's featuring you, there's going to be some cool stuff. Like, how do you make your story longer? That's one thing we talk about. If you do a lot of Instagram stories, you notice that you'll get cut off. You start talking and you're all into it, and then it just ends, and then you have to start another one, and then people have to click to the next one to figure out what you were talking about, where you might just want to have a longer one, and you want it to be a story because you want it to be up at the top there, and you don't necessarily want it to be just a video that you're putting on your Instagram feed. So that type stuff that actually might be really beneficial to you, especially if you are the personality in your business, and social media is really important to that. Social media is really important to any brand. Let's be honest. I think so many people for a long time were like, yeah, but I'm in the medical field, or I'm selling lamps. Not that many people care about. That's not really exciting to put on social media. Actually, it is. There's so much cool stuff that you can do. And the more of these hacks and tools that you can implement and put towards your visual stuff that you're putting out there, the more that people get excited. And don't forget, we talk about it a ton on the show, and I'm a big fan of it. You got to connect with your audience no matter what you're selling. You could be, maybe you are just selling a certain type of pillow. I don't know what it could be. Maybe you think it is something that's so uninteresting, maybe it has to do with finance or whatever. But I my financial guru, who I've mentioned before, Alexa Von Tobel. I follow her on Instagram all over the place. Follow her on the radio. I watch her stories. I'm all about it. And she makes 401ks and retirement planning pretty fun. It's pretty exciting to me now, where it used to be I don't want to talk about life insurance and all that kind of stuff. But it's actually pretty fun to watch money grow, of course. And it's also just, she's just done so well at being a personality. And Tabitha obviously has done really well herself. So gosh, if you guys are listening to my podcast lately, I'm just going on and on about my guests because I'm just really excited about all that they're doing. And a lot of these people are people that have been brought to me or suggested or asked hey, can you have this person on your show? And so I bring them on the show, and then I just get really excited because there's somebody that maybe I would have come across, but I'm just now meeting them. So it's super fun. Anyways, yeah, you're all couch hustlers. Maybe you're not, but maybe you are. When you hear this interview, you might find out that you are. Tabitha is, and she's rad. So I'm excited for you to listen to her and enjoy the interview. Hey, Tabitha. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, Summer. Thank you so much for having me.
So we're going to talk about something different that we haven't talked about on this show before. We have talked social media. I've had some different Facebook experts, Instagram experts, and I know we're going to talk about some of that today as well. But what's super cool about what you're doing is smartphone marketing. And it might be something that people aren't actually paying attention to or think that they need to pay attention to. But if you think about it, most of us are on our smartphones most of the day.
Right. Obviously.
So it's pretty important. So this is going to be super awesome. I'm so excited to get to talk about this topic with you and really shed some light on something that I think a lot of our listeners don't really think about. So let's start with you and how this came about, because you were an elementary school teacher, correct?
Yes, just until June of this past year. Okay,
so you were a teacher, and now you're this amazing entrepreneur who's doing something that's so necessary. So how did you go from teaching to doing this?
Well, I feel like I went from teaching and I'm still teaching. So that's the cool thing. The fact that that's my background, I think has been helpful in what I do. But how I got started, obviously business aspect wise and entrepreneur aspect wise, I had no experience or anything. But when I was in my 7th year of teaching, I had transferred to a different position where I needed to, I kind of needed to add more to the curriculum. So I had started creating my own lesson plans and activities and things for my students, and had come across this website, which is called Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's an open marketplace for teachers to upload their own unique created digital resources for the classroom and sell them to other fellow teachers. So it's really an awesome format because it's giving control more to the teacher to supplement their income while also contributing to other classrooms with the things that they're doing in their own classrooms. So I jumped on board. It's been an amazing ride. I've loved that. And that's how I got into business, was doing that. But I had no clue what I was doing. And marketing, I did not know what that was for about 3 or 4 years. So I'm just like producing and not doing anything to market what I'm selling. So after a little while of being on the internet, I realized, oh, there's this whole world that I should probably be learning about to make more sales. And so I just, my husband has been I consider him kind of my mentor because he's a graphic designer by trade, and then he does photography. So he had this Canon camera, and he was like, you have to do everything professional. It has to be amazing. And I was like, okay. And I'm just a teacher. And I'm like, well, this looks good enough. He's like, no, you're doing this. This isn't correct. You got to do it the right way. So I really tried to do everything the right way. I had my 3 light box set up, and, was trying to just make it all really professional, start a YouTube channel as well. And I was so exhausted because I'm a full-time teacher. I'm going home. Besides the fact I pretty much had all my products and content, so I didn't have to do that anymore, but just trying to promote and market in that format was so draining, especially I'm not somebody who just naturally loves photography or videography, all of that. Yeah. So I've been I've had my first iPhone was the 3, and when I hit to the 5, I just kind of started inserting my phone instead of the camera and just seeing how it went. And I was like, this is not that bad. And then I realized I could sit on the couch and edit my photos instead of having to be upright at my desk, at a laptop. And this was great because in the evenings I'm exhausted. So I could still work and market, but I could do it just from my phone. When I got to my iPhone 6, then the video quality, I also was like, let me try this for my YouTube videos. And so anyways, long story short, my fellow niche of teacher entrepreneur friends, I started sharing with them. I noticed that there was an interest, and I was starting to want to explore another source of income and business. And I was like, I really love sharing when I discover something new that I can do on my phone to promote my business. And I was like, let me just set up an Instagram account, and that evolved into a website and all of that. And it all of a sudden has taken over, and it's what I'm doing full time now, which is a smartphone marketing school.
Isn't that the best? I love those stories because it's usually you seeking out a solution for yourself that gets you passionate about it. And that's the best type of person to work with, because you want to work with somebody who actually had the same problem that you're trying to solve, because it's like, she gets it. You know what I mean? Right. You're going to be offering the same solutions that they need. So I think it's so cool. So people are doing, Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives. They're doing things with their iPhone, but they're not really getting how they can optimize that. So what are some of the things that you are teaching them?
So to start off with, if you want to start using your phone as a camera tool for, photos and videos and all of that, you want to make sure that you, first of all, have figured out your storage. So I share ways to do that. And I feel like anytime I share publicly, I tell everybody, please download the Google Photos app because it's unlimited video and photo storage. It's for Android as well. So if you don't have that, get that, because obviously our camera roll is where we lose so much of our storage. And this is saved for you on Google's cloud. And so you can access it on desktop as well, where you access your mail and calendar and all of that. There's a colorful pinwheel, and that is the icon for Google Photos. So not only is that app amazing for the storage solution, but another thing that I also share is just making sure you have a very quick but effective transfer option, because obviously we still need to use our desktops, even though I no longer design or do anything like that on the desktop. I do it on my phone. But then when it comes time to actually implement and create ads, or if I'm not posting on Instagram, I'm posting on other platforms, I usually resort to desktop. So you need to have a good transfer method that's fast and reliable, or you're not going to really make use of what you're doing on your phone. So my suggestions for that, the Google Photos app works great. I have a Mac as well, so I used to use AirDrop, but then it will just decide not to work, and so I use Simple Transfer Pro. This app, it's amazing, and there's several different types, but it's, as long as you're connected to the same Wi-Fi, then it's very quick at transferring your photos and videos to your desktop, so it's not taking so long and everything like that. So I teach about that. I also teach about shortcuts, organization on your phone, bookmarking things, making the process of whatever you're doing on your phone as quick as possible, so that it truly is a time saver, because oftentimes we're actually wasting time on our phones and not saving time. So I definitely try to share as many strategies for making your phone an effective marketing tool and also productivity tool.
Yeah, definitely. So how often are you creating and posting?
Instagram, I try to post daily. That just kind of keeps me consistent. It seems like Instagram is where I kind of get my ideas and flow of what could be my next blog post topic or whatever. So I'm just kind of sharing a snippet. Instagram stories has really become a favorite of mine as well. So I try to get on there once a day. Facebook, I do have a scheduler. So I'm kind of just plugging content into my scheduler and then going that route. So I'll post twice a day there. Twitter, as I post about, I think 2 or 3 times. But anyways, so that's pretty much, I'm trying to think where else am I putting out my content, but that's pretty much how much I do. I try to do a lot of scheduling except for Instagram, so that way on a day-to-day basis, I'm more working on and fleshing out content based on ideas that I really get just when I'm going through the day, and I'm like, that was helpful for me. Now let me see how I can polish that up and make it helpful for other people. Right.
So you're creating these posts. How have you determined what a good post is? What is something that people are actually going to like and engage them?
So I have 2, I guess, strategies that I use for that. One is old school. I check the SEO of the keywords for that topic. So SEMrush.com, and I can use it on my phone. They only allow you, if you use the free site, to search like 10 terms per day. But for me, as I'm not somebody who's blogging every day, that's good enough. So I'll search, and it kind of lets you know if this is, and especially for me and anybody who has a very narrow niche, it's really helpful because oftentimes like no results come up for, I'll be like, how to make a Pinterest image on your phone. And there's like nobody's searching for that. So that's helpful for me to know, like, is what I think awesome. Is that something that's actually somebody needs to know? Because a lot of what I teach, people actually don't realize that they would love to be able to do this on their phones. But so that on that end, that really helps me know what people are searching for and if I'm going to get organic traffic. But then I really love using Instagram stories, and now Facebook has stories, but Instagram stories, because my audience is more, they feel like more open to engage with you because it's direct messaging. So they have this little poll sticker that you can like ask a question. So I'll say, like I'll share, I just figured out how to, organize my website bookmarks. I'll say, would you like a blog post on this? And you can do a poll, yes or no. And obviously, people are nice and they're probably going to say yes. But usually what I look at is when I share something, how many direct messages do I get? How many people? Or I also just look at what are the random direct message questions that I'm getting. And even if you're not on stories or anything like that, just look at social media. What are people coming to you and asking for help with? So I often see by that, I know, this would be something that I know people would be interested in and want to know. Or maybe there's some idea that I have, but I can like modify it where it also meets a need that I know is out there and that people are searching for.
Yeah. How are you staying up to date with? Because you're just like, it's like, every app to use, everything that you can, to make your product photos look awesome, to make your videos look good. Like where are you getting the education to know, like, how do you know when apps are coming out?
So, I'll clarify that I definitely don't know all the apps that are out there because there's just, a million and my brain is not that.
Yeah. It's almost impossible because there's so many, there used to be 20 apps. Now there's like, 20 billion. But
right. And there's people that are like, have that type of memory that they could learn. And I'm more like, I've mastered what works. But as well, I definitely like, on Facebook, if there's accounts that are geared towards social media, whether it's like Social Media Examiner or Marie Smith for Facebook, like I will make sure that I have my default set up where I see their posts first. And there's like one that's for Mag 9 to 5. So they also keep me updated on anything iOS, iPhone related. So I make sure that I see those first in my Facebook feed. Kind of stinks because you want to go there and be social, but it's like I've made it more of just a learning platform. So that really helps. And another thing that has become a huge help to me is actually members of my membership. I am constantly encouraging them to share with me anything they learn. And I have one friend, she originally started out as a member, Anita Goodwin, and she's just always like, I don't know, her brain is always exploring and finding these new apps and these cool things that could be done visually with them. And so she's now become a course contributor and everything like that. And so I'm always like Anita, okay, what you got for me or whatever. And so it's cool because I have these friendships with people and they will constantly send me direct messages and be like, hey, have you seen this app? Have you seen this new feature? I feel like I have a lot of awesome friends as well that keep me up to date, because if not, it's just like very overwhelming.
Yeah. So what happens when somebody becomes a member of your community? Are they constantly getting these updates as well? Like as you learn, I'm sure you're sharing that with your members.
Totally. We have a closed Facebook group that they're a part of. And then they have the course site access, which is 10 different modules. And honestly, like at the course site, it's really very focused on how to market your business, your products and services, starting with photography, then ending with video marketing. I really try not to put too much excess stuff. I try to put all the things that I found necessary, the building blocks to starting out with just photography and then fleshing all the way out to video marketing in a way that's not overwhelming. But then in the Facebook group, anytime there's updates, I'm always shooting them in that group as well, and keeping people updated on, because honestly, there's a million cool apps that could do cool, engaging visuals for you, but it's not necessary. So that's where I kind of like dump all the excess updates, information, things like that. And so people can pick and choose depending on their business needs and what they're trying to create, whether or not this is an app that would serve them.
Right. And are you usually working with the actual entrepreneur themselves, or are there digital marketing teams that would be taking your course as well?
Right now, it's pretty much single entrepreneurs that have that have become members. My membership is open to anybody, but I haven't worked with teams specifically. I do know that there's some members who are digital marketers and some that are social media marketers. So they're taking that to help their clients as well. Yeah, but it's kind of like I have a yoga instructor. I have, this lady who makes these dolls. She makes these crochet dolls. I mean, it's just interesting because it's really what I teach can apply to anybody that's in the online world needing to market. So it's a wide range.
So I love productivity. I love apps that save time. I love, just being like super efficient and just like having everything in one spot. One thing that you have, and I saw on your site, which is so cool, you have like all these great little tips. Like one is the iPhone organizer. It's like the wallpaper.
Yes.
And it's so cool because, yes, you can, on your iPhone, you can put all these different kinds of apps in the entertainment folder, or you can put ones in the financial folder, or whatever those things are. But then what happens is those things get really big. Then you have multiple folders. And so there's this cool, you have this, I think it was on your blog, but there's this cool wallpaper photo, and I'm just geeking out on it, where it's like written on the side margin what each of those categories are, and then you have all the folders next to it. Like in a row. It's so cool. I love that kind of stuff because it's just so easy to just pick up your phone. Because how many times you download, a lot of us get excited and we download apps. I don't know how many of them we actually use, but for the ones that you really use, you want to be able to get there right away. But because you download so many, or upload, I should say, you're swiping your screen, like your screen, you just keep swiping to the right to find where that app was. I mean, it's just so cool to just have it right there and you can just click on it right away. So I love stuff like that. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's like one of my lead magnets, opt-ins. So those are free, and there's like a bunch of different designs. And I also share how you can like add in your own topic titles on that left side that you're referring to. So because like on a iPhone screen, you have 6 different rows. So you can kind of decide based on your needs as a person, like what those topics would be. And so you can modify those as you need to.
Right. And then there's other cool things too, like Instagram stories. So Instagram stories, I've had this before where you're creating a story, but it only gives you a certain amount of time. And then all of a sudden you're cut off, but there's a solution to that. Can you tell us about that? Because that's just a fun thing too. So many people start talking to their audience and then they're just cut off.
Yeah, absolutely. And this works amazingly when you have something longer that you want to share, and we know how nerve-wracking it is when you see like circle, like going around and time's almost up and you're trying to say everything so perfectly in that 15-second time frame. So there's 2 different apps. Well, there's more than 2, but the one that I recommend as far as being most inexpensive and practical is Cut Story, and that's just one word together. And you upload your video and it can be however long, and then it will split it or cut it for you into increments of time. So you don't actually even have to, if you want to do Instagram stories, they have the 15-second option, and then it will just cut it into 15-second increments. And then once it's done, you go to your camera roll and there it is in order and everything, dude. And you have to kind of be careful. Sometimes, like if you did just a talking head video where you were talking to the camera, you're like, did I already upload that clip or not? So you kind of have to so you kind of got to remember, okay, I did 2, so now I'm on number 3 or whatever. But it's awesome because you have a 2-minute video, you can totally upload it. I also use that app to split longer videos, especially tutorial videos, because I do a lot of those on my Instagram feed, not just in stories. And so they're longer than a minute. So this app, the maximum increment time that it will cut your videos up into is 60 seconds. So I'll use that and then use the carousel feature so I can upload longer tutorials and longer videos as well into my Instagram feed just by using that feature as well.
And I bet people would wonder, how is she able to do that?
It's not magic. It's not complicated. Anybody.
But it's just those. And that's the thing. It's just so cool that all of this does exist. But if it's not right there in front of you within the app that you're using, like you just don't know. So to be able to know that you're, you've got all of these tips. I mean, you just have like a ton of tips. Like, let's talk about another one, because I just think this is so fun and this is stuff people can walk away with. And of course, if you want more, you can go to Tabitha's site, which is tabithacarro.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. So we'll have a link to that, but it's TabithaCarro.com. And especially if you head over to the blog, like you'll see tons of these tips. But let's talk about the collection categories on Instagram and what that feature is, because I didn't know about this before you.
Okay. So when you're scrolling through your feed in Instagram, you'll see there's an icon. I believe it's on the right side of any post. And that is, on the right side, it's a little flag that's going down. And if you tap on that just once, it's automatically saved. It's like the save tool that you have on Facebook as well. And it just goes to your collections, which is all of your saved Instagram posts. And so when you tap on your profile and you go right above your feed, your posts, you see like 4 different icons. And the very last one is that same bookmark icon. When you tap on that, you get access to all of your posts that you've saved. And it'll say when you tap on that, you have 2 options at the top, all, which is all of them together. Or then if you tap on collections, you have basically folders. So when this first came out, people called it like a Pinterest type tool because it's literally like you can set up different boards. So this is fantastic just for saving those posts that either inspire you or things you want to remember. I try to follow all of my members. So whenever they do something awesome, then I'll save that. So for example, if anybody does a shout out to you about your business and you're like, oh, I want to remember that, maybe I want to, repurpose that for a landing page or who knows what, then you can create a folder that's like social proof or something like that. I will save ads. When I see an ad that I thought was really on point and really effective, I'll save that to my ads folder for inspiration later on. Giveaways, when I see somebody do a cool giveaway, I'll save that. So literally you can just save anything that you think would be useful to come back to later.
So cool. And then we were talking about the stories before, but now let's talk about live and doing like Facebook Lives or Instagram Lives. There's this cool thing that you show. It's like a it's like an announcement basically to say, here's when I'm going to be on. But instead of doing it as just a status quote, or even just, an Instagram story to say that you're going to be on, you could use this. Actually, I'm guessing you could use this as in your story. It's this cool little thing that will say but it's like, it's graphically really cool. So it's not just you saying, hey guys, I'm going to be live at this time, or it's not just you writing in the text. That's another hard thing. Okay. There's writing in the text. So you have a picture, say, and there's me writing with my finger, trying to circle something and say it, which is fun. It looks fun, but sometimes you just want it to look a little bit neater. And even the text that you pick either looks too big or you just can't get it right. So there's a couple things. There's, it's like this really cool, label. You can actually label your picture with an app. Yes. And it's called it's called.
Is that called the This app?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, that one's super cool. So yeah, sometimes you're like, this looks bad. When you if you try to mark up your photos, or you just need to point to something and you want it to look good, and that app is really awesome in general for just I have friends that use it to she has a cooking page or whatever, so she'll use it, and it just marks easily all the different ingredients, and you have different endpoints too. It's arrows basically, but you have different endpoints, and at the end of the arrow you can easily type in text. You have no customization with this app except for black or white, and the font is what it is, but the ease of use and the fact that it looks really cute, I think I called it the cutest labeling app of all time, also just makes it's a great thing to pull out every now and then if you are showing different details for whatever reason, whether it's materials you need for a do-it-yourself project, or different things in a product that people will get if they purchase. It's just a great app to point out the different objects or words or items that are in an image and easily label them and make it stand out and look professional.
So cool. I mean, it's endless when all the information that you have. There's how can you blur out your face? What are different ways that you can, put text on your pictures that are more creative? There's also, what about if you need an idea of? That's another thing. If you're doing your own social media, coming up with the calendar, coming up with the content can be challenging sometimes because you have so much going on. Sometimes, it's easier, but if you want to set up something, how do you come up with those ideas? And there's even apps for that. Is that correct? That can help you with ideas of what you should be posting?
Yes. One that comes to mind, I'm not sure if it's one that you're thinking about, but is the Trello app, which is Trello. This is a website.
I love Trello.
Yeah. Now, do you use the app as well?
I do use the app. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, that app is my best friend for just getting down ideas, making the, I have my board. But the cool thing is, and I apologize, I don't know in Android how you do this, but, the iPhone has the 3D touch, tool, which is on any app. If you do a hard jab kind of press on it, instead of opening the app, it'll give you some options. So I have Trello on my home screen. Whenever I have this idea that I'm oh my goodness, I don't want to forget this. I need to get this just down, so I have it. Later, I'll just do that hard press on Trello. And then my two latest boards, it'll give you options to select the two latest boards that you've accessed. And so those are typically the ones where I'm saving my ideas, so I can just select that right there in the moment, add that idea to a list, and then I'm done. And then obviously, since it syncs with your desktop version, whenever you're ready to actually flesh out things, you can just go to it and it syncs and it's saved, and you didn't lose it while you were at the grocery store, trying to buy milk or whatever.
That's so cool. So what are some of the things that people are, I mean, obviously there's free content on your site. There's also then the kind of exclusive content that they get from being a member. And what are they going to be learning specifically in the free course?
Okay, so another link where all my free stuff is actually housed if I'm not doing my quarterly enrollment is courses.tabithacarro.com. So there I have at the bottom, there's two different free courses. One is the Couch Hustler course. Another one is iPhone product video course. So the iPhone product video course is obviously for iPhone users that have a product they're wanting to market through video. So that guides you 25 days of dripped content that comes to your inbox, and then you access it. You can also access it through your account that you create there with video tutorials on how to set everything up, apps that I recommend, how to like prepare and plan your script, blah, blah, blah. Then the Couch Hustler one is super popular. That's kind of like the basics for those who are like, this is cool, this is interesting, I'd like to know more about what does it mean to actually create designs and edit photos and little Insta videos on my phone. So that course will give you the ropes, kind of the basics of how you get started couch hustling, as we call it, creating visual content on your phone. And then the last, I have three. The last one at the top header, there's a 4-day free design challenge, and this one has been really popular because in 4 days you'll learn how on your phone you can implement your brand colors, your brand fonts, and how I suggest you do that to create professional, eye-catching designs for social media just with your phone that are also cohesive to your branding and that look really great. So that's all free because honestly, there's just so much to share on this topic. So people are often like, this is your free content. And I'm like, yes. And oftentimes that's all people think that they need. And that's cool. I'm just excited that people grab onto this idea. But honestly, there's a huge world of what you can do now on your phone. And yeah,
it's incredible. So on a personal note, how has the journey been? Because it's fairly new for you. How has the journey been, making this transition and starting up this business?
It's been absolutely amazing. For me, the social aspect of it, I have really made some deep connections with fellow business owners. And even though, a bunch of them I have met since membership through conferences and things, many are in the same niche as I am with the teacher entrepreneur world. But it's just interesting to see how when I first started this, honestly, there was, it's so funny because in a year from now, I'll say the same thing, but there was just so much I didn't even know at that time. And honestly, the apps, how they have developed, back in the day when I first started, most apps were either square output or widescreen, and that's all you got. Now a lot of the big design apps that you can use, they just provide it all for you right there. You want Instagram stories, you just tap a button. You want a Facebook cover, you tap a button. And everything has just grown and developed. So it's been really cool to just see how that has happened and also see what those of us who, it's been about 2 years, started from the beginning, like what we're able to do now that initially we couldn't do. Because it's I don't want to call it an art form. I don't want to offend the artists
right
out there, but it is literally, it's a craft. It's just something that is constantly evolving. You're constantly learning and exploring just new ways to create the visual content you need for your business. And it's been a super fun journey, and it's been really cool as well. And for me to transition as an employed person, a teacher, a job that I love. And as I said at the beginning, I'm still a teacher. I definitely am keeping that title. I feel I'm teacher first before anything, before entrepreneur or whatever, because that's my passion. But now I'm just teaching fellow business owners. And it's been a transition that I've really loved, and realized I didn't even have this passion, like that feeling, knowing that other people are succeeding more in their business just because of your little app tips. It's it gives you fulfillment, and it's really made me feel like I have this new purpose that I really enjoy and love.
Well, you're awesome. And your site and all of your social media that you have is so much fun. It's so valuable. And I'm so happy we got to share at least some of those with our audience today. And you can find more again at tabithacarro.com. And we'll have all the links that you talked about and everything on the blog post and in the show notes. And Tabitha, you're so awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed being on your show.
Thank you for listening to today's Get Genius. You can learn more about The Draw Shop at www.thedrawshop.com on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Your home for kick-butt custom whiteboard marketing videos. Your ideas come to life. Thanks for listening. Please share, comment, and make any suggestions for future Genius guests.